Well, here we are. It's time for another edition of Jonesing for Football as we are about set to kick off the 2021 National Football League season. Bill Jones in Dallas, along with Cody Winstead from the NFL Network. He is based in Philadelphia. How you doing, young Cody?
Oh, Bill Jones, I'm excited. Training camps kind of getting wrapped up here. Week 3 of the preseason is about to kick off. I know you'll be calling the Jags and Cowboys coming up this weekend. I'm excited, man. Let's get the season rolling.
Yeah, and by the way, we are expanding our audience as we are on CBS in DFW. You're going even more nationwide, young Cody, these days.
Oh, I love it. Hey, I know the Dallas market down there. We worked together for 7 years down there in CBS 11 in Dallas, and I love all those guys. And obviously following the Cowboys really closely. Let's get it on.
All right. You mentioned the Cowboys close out the preseason against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Urban Meyer's Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a Sunday noon kickoff Dallas time at AT&T Stadium. And you can not only see it in Dallas-Fort Worth on CBS 11, but also on the NFL Network. And Cody, guess who's joining us in the broadcast booth this week? Myself and Babe Laufenberg. And there's one other Hall of Famer joining us to close out the preseason. Who do you think that might be?
Oh, trust me. I already know. My DVR is set. NFL Network legend, Michael Irvin. That's the word, right?
That's right. We got the playmaker in the broadcast booth. You know, it's really weird to play a Sunday noon game in the preseason, but it kind of gets you in tune for the regular season when, of course, we all Central Time, there's noon kickoffs. And it's also going to be interesting for Michael because I think he will be coming straight from the Potter's house where he goes to church on Sunday mornings in Dallas, where Bishop T.D. Jakes is the pastor. And so when I introduce Michael, I think I'm going to say, and straight from the Potter's house, we've got Bishop T.D. Irvin joining us in the broadcast booth.
See, this is what I'm counting on. I'm not sure the game is going to be all that entertaining, but you and Babe and Michael Irvin in the booth, that right there is worth people's time to tune in.
All right. And what is worth your time tuning in this week on Jonesing for Football? This may be my favorite podcast of the year because we are going to predict award winners this week. And I spent a lot of time researching this. I've got a lot of candidates in all of the award categories, but I've settled on mine, and I know you've settled on yours as well.
Yeah, that's right. We actually did this last season. This is probably the first time we've ever had a second or duplicate podcast, but this is a great one. You're right. We got to get our most important awards. We got to figure out who's winning them. So like I predicted the Bucs were going to have a good year, not Super Bowl, but I predicted the Bucs were going to have a good year. And then
Well, let's just say you picked them to win it all last year.
Okay, fine. But I was able to bring that back this offseason and tell you about that. So yeah, that was key. Let's start with the first year, guys. What do you think? How about Defensive Rookie of the Year? Who are you looking at for that award?
You know what? I've been saying all throughout Cowboys training camp, and it's a no-brainer here in Dallas. The Defensive Rookie of the Year is number 11, as in CBS 11, for your Dallas Cowboys, and that is Micah Parsons. And there is nothing that has happened this preseason that would change my mind that Micah Parsons will be the Defensive Rookie of the Year. It was interesting, the Texans game on Saturday night here. You could really see where Dan Quinn has been utilizing Parsons in his defensive sub packages. He's going to be on the field on probably among all the linebackers. They got a pretty good linebacking crew here and a lot of candidates for snaps. But they're going to figure out how to get Parsons on the field as often as possible. But I'm going to give you one other guy, too. Parsons is my pick, but let me give you another guy, a sleeper who you need to be looking out for, and that is a guy that was picked in the 3rd round, number 100 overall for the Tennessee Titans. I loved him in the draft. and he is really showing this preseason what he can do for the Titans. And it's their young defensive back, Elijah Molden. He picked off Tom Brady in a joint practice last week. He was all over the field on this past weekend in the Titans game. Elijah Molden, my sleeper for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
You've been raving about Elijah Molden since, what was that, March or April? I mean,
that's right.
And good research by you. The joint practice stat you're throwing out, impressive. Obviously, Micah Parsons looks like the real deal so far. They're lining him up all over. He's just wreaking havoc when an opponent's offenses. So I love Micah Parsons, and surely he has impressed so far with the Cowboys. Give me, though, Bill Jones, Jalen Phillips, the Dolphins linebacker that will rock number 15 this year. So you're taking Micah Parsons, number 11. I'm taking number 15, Jalen Phillips with the Dolphins. Same number he actually wore with the Miami Hurricanes last season, 6'5", 266 with 4.5 speed. This guy, like Parsons, is an athletic freak. He's going to be flying off the edge in the 4-3, whether he's standing up in that or he's got his hand in the dirt in the 4-3. So he'll be coming off the edge in the 3-4, I'm sorry. Or whether he's got his hand in the dirt in the 4-3. Completely dominated the ACC at Miami last year. 8 sacks, 15.5 tackles for loss. And the Dolphins actually finished top 10 in sacks last year. So he's joining a pretty good group. They've got a really talented secondary, Byron Jones, Xavier Howard there. So that'll give Phillips even more time to get to the QB. So I'm taking him to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. All right. How about offense, Bill Jones? Switching the other side of the ball. You got an Offensive Rookie of the Year that you like?
Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, who's the favorite to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year? It would be the guy that was, well, outside of quarterbacks. Okay. If you're taking a receiver, the favorite would be probably the first receiver taken 4th overall, the Atlanta Falcons tight end, Kyle Pitts. And so my immediate knee jerk was Pitts. And you could go quarterback, you could go Trevor Lawrence, but sometimes rookie quarterbacks don't put up the numbers that Justin Herbert did last year or whatever. All right, I'm going to give you another sleeper, okay? He's a sleeper unless you studied the draft, okay?
Okay.
And he wound up being a 2nd-round draft pick. You have any idea where I'm going yet with it? It was early in the 2nd round, and I mentioned Elijah Molden as my sleeper Defensive Rookie of the Year pick. Well, this is my Offensive Rookie of the Year pick. Not a sleeper anymore. The number 34 overall pick, early 2nd round of the New York Football Jets. And that would be the wide receiver out of Ole Miss, Elijah Moore. So I've got 2 Elijah rookies in contention for Rookie of the Year. Elijah Moore, they love him with the Jets, and I understand why. When I watched his tape at Ole Miss and his pro day and so forth, I went, wow, look at this guy. He is going to be an immediate, make an immediate impact for the Jets with Zach Wilson at quarterback for that team. And now he's battling a quad injury right now, so he hasn't done as much in the preseason as you might expect. But I think he's going to be fully healthy by week 1 of the regular season. And so look out for Elijah Moore. But let me throw you out another one. We did the Cowboys-Cardinals game a couple of weeks ago, and Rondell Moore is a guy. All right, for you fantasy football players out there, Rondell Moore, Cliff Kingsbury is figuring out so many ways to give Rondell Moore the football. It's on jet sweeps. He's going to be a guy that is highly productive. I can see him scoring touchdowns, running the football, and he may take some of the rushing load off of Kyler Murray. But in that offense, when you run those end arounds where you got Rondell Moore coming one way and then like a zone read with Kyler Murray, the threat on the outside going the other way, that's going to stress defenses incredibly. So I got 2 mores there, Elijah and Rondell, but I'm going to go with Elijah.
I actually covered the Jets in training camp with NFL Network. I was actually there with Daniel Jeremiah, noted draft expert. He loves Elijah Moore as well. And I'll give you a little tip here. I actually think Michael Carter, the running back for the Jets, is going to have a nice year as well. So I'm with you. I heard a lot about Elijah Moore. We actually interviewed him on NFL Network when we were there about a couple weeks ago. For me, I am taking one of the quarterbacks, though. It's easy in my eyes. It's going to be
so Trevor Lawrence, or Trey Lance. Trey Lance is your guy.
It's easy for me. I've been raving about Justin Fields, Bill Jones, for months. In fact,
Shocker.
I actually went to the preseason opener, Dolphins at Bears. We flew in. We left Philadelphia at 5 a.m. just so we could fly to Chicago and watch Justin Fields for the weekend. I'm already on record. I think he should be the Bears starter week 1 when they face the Rams on Sunday Night Football. Unfortunately, Matt Nagy seems to think that it's still going to be Andy Dalton in week 1. We'll see. We still got a couple weeks to go. But Chicago has some pretty strong weapons on the outside there. Robinson, Mooney, Graham, Kmet, Montgomery, and Cohen in the backfield, and a decent offensive line. So I think Justin Fields is going to be a star in the league. I have no doubt about it. I think if he doesn't start week 1, which isn't out of the question, if you ask me, it's week 2 or week 3. He's in, Andy Dalton is out, and Justin Fields is going to have a Justin Herbert type of rookie season. And just like Herbert won Offensive Rookie of the Year, Fields will win the award this season.
All right.
Any response to that, Bill Jones?
Well, I just wonder, Andy Dalton says it is his time in Chicago. And so it'll be very interesting to see how Justin Fields, your fellow Buckeye, is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year when it is not yet his time in Chicago. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Well, like I said, I was at the preseason opener, and Andy Dalton was 3 for 3 on 3-and-out drives to start the preseason. And everybody was like, okay, get this guy out of here. I was in the stands and they were like, when is Fields warming up? Oh yeah. Okay. Justin Fields is warming up. The entire stadium stood up for the first time when Justin Fields started warming up. And so that's why I was like, okay, Andy Dalton's leash is very short.
So you're telling me there's still a chance that Andy Dalton could be Dak's backup here in Dallas?
That I don't think that's out of the question. That is possible. All right, let's get to comeback player of the year. How about that, Bill Jones? Which way you leaning for comeback player of the year? Lots of options here.
Yes, there are lots of options. Let's run down a few of the options. Of course, there's Saquon Barkley, running back from the Giants, who left early in the season with an ACL last year. Joe Burrow, the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. I'll even throw out a defensive player for you, a guy who missed the entire – I'll throw out 2 defensive players for you. I'll throw out 3 defensive players for you, all right? I got 3 edge rushers that are candidates. How about here in Dallas? Randy Gregory, who is going to be starting at defensive end for the Cowboys for the first time in his career. And you talk about a comeback. What a comeback story that would be. How about Nick Bosa for the 49ers? You probably like that because he's a Buckeye, right? Okay.
Oh, he's a great player. I think that has
more. Okay. All right. I got another one who I loved in the draft, whatever year that was, 2014 or 15, Danielle Hunter, who missed the entire season last year. By the way, the guy that I was saying back when Randy Gregory was taken by the Cowboys, I had Hunter as a first-round talent, and he lasted all the way to the end of the 3rd round. And the defensive genius Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman in Minnesota decided to take him there, and he's got over 50 sacks in his career. So Danielle Hunter's another candidate. But the guy I'm going with is, of course, the quarterback here in Dallas, and that would be Dak Prescott as my comeback player of the year. And I don't have to go into much detail there. We all know the story about Dak's injury last year and the weapons that he has on offense. There's one caveat. Everybody's got to stay healthy. But if everybody stays healthy, and I'm talking the offensive line, Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, Zach Martin, who are all beset by injuries last year, I think Dak Prescott is going to put up huge numbers and will be the comeback player of the year.
What about Dak Prescott staying healthy? I thought that's where you were going with that.
No, that's the other part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how's that arm feeling? How's that arm feeling? You forgot, by the way, Christian McCaffrey.
That's right.
Drafts. He would be an option for comeback player of the year as well. All right. You actually mentioned mine. I'm going with someone that's going to take a major jump this season. That's Joe Burrow.
Where did he start his college career?
He's an Ohio boy, but I like me some Joe Burrow coming off a torn ACL and MCL that limited him to just 10 games as a rookie. I think he becomes a star this season. He's got the weapons: Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. The Bengals have weapons, y'all. And their offensive line should be improved. Give me Joe Burrow as comeback player of the year, Bill Jones. And how about this? He's also my dark horse MVP candidate.
Wow.
How about that?
In that division.
Yes.
Wow. I can't wait. And by the way, next week we are going to be picking division winners. And I cannot wait to hear where you've got Cincinnati in that black and blue division with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland, which is the pick of many.
Since he has the odds stacked against them, we all know that, but I think they're going to be better than most people expect. How about defensive player of the year, Bill Jones? Which way are you going?
Defensive player of the year. Aaron Donald, 3-time defensive player of the year. And of course, going all the way back to 2014, he was the defensive rookie of the year, 7-time Pro Bowler. And if you look at Aaron Donald's stats the last 4 years, he won the defensive rookie of the year in 2017. He had 11 sacks, 15 tackles for loss that year. He won it again in 2018 when he had the incredible, for an interior defensive lineman especially, 20 and a half sacks, 25 tackles for loss, and over 40 quarterback pressures. He didn't win it in 2019, but he had 12 and a half sacks that year. And then last year, he wins it with 13 and a half sacks. The numbers are pretty consistent these 3 years. And so basically, he has set the standard. If Aaron Donald gets around 12 to 13 sacks, he doesn't even have to put up 20 sacks. He is winning the Defensive Rookie of the Year award on an almost annual basis lately. Yeah. However, I'm not going with Aaron Donald.
Oh, you faked me out there. Head fake.
Instead, I'm going with a Buckeye.
Okay.
Which Buckeye am I going with?
I mean, we've got so many studs in the league. I don't know which way you're going. The Bosa brothers, which way?
I'm going with Chase Young.
Okay, I love me some
Chase Young of the Washington football team, who had 7.5 sacks as a rookie last year, 10 tackles for loss. I just figure if Donald has set the standard with winning the defensive player of the year with around 12 to 13 sacks every year, Chase Young, if he doubles his sack total, which I think he has a real good chance of doing, he'll be a double-figure sack guy with Washington this year. He's right in the mix with Aaron Donald, and you can't give it to Aaron Donald every year, can you? And so I think, and Chase Young, the other thing that's a very significant stat that he had last year as a rookie, he had 4 forced fumbles. And so I see him doing that a lot. Set aside the sack total, really good defense that Washington has put together. Chase Young and all the Alabama guys. And so I just think Chase Young is going to, and people talk about the jump from your first year to your second year. He was the defensive rookie of the year last year. I got him as the whole league rookie or the defensive player of the year this year.
Yep. Chase Young is my favorite player in the entire NFL. A complete culture changer. Like, obviously he's a great player, one of the most gifted athletes in the league, no doubt about it, but he's a culture changer. He took what Washington was and just swept it clean. It's cool to be with Washington now. He hypes his teammates. He sets the tone for them on and off the field. And that's what I love about Chase Young. So I'm with you. He's going to go 14 plus sacks this year. I don't have any doubt. And you're right on the strip sacks, because he's all over the strip sacks. I'm actually taking another pass rusher, Myles Garrett.
Ah,
If you're comparing like incredibly built human beings, Chase Young and Myles Garrett, just their athleticism, size, and speed and everything. Wow. I don't know if you can find two guys that are that big and that strong and that fast, but 10 plus sacks for Myles Garrett each of the last 3 seasons, including 12 in just 14 games last year. That number should be higher this season with Jadeveon Clowney lining up on the opposite side. The entire Browns defense is stacked, and they're going to be a lot better than last year when they finished 17th in yards and 21st in points. And Bill Jones, that actually leads to my win stat of the week. All right. This is a partial question for you. So here's what I've got. The Browns returned to Cleveland in 1999. So there's been 22 seasons since then. Guess how many times they've had a top 10 defense in yards allowed? 22 seasons. How many times have they had a top 10 defense in Cleveland? 0. That's a good guess. That's a good guess. The answer is actually twice. Only twice. They finished 10th in 2011 and they finished 9th in 2013. So the Browns, since coming back to Cleveland, have never finished better than 9th in defense, which is, pretty sad, truthfully. I think they do it this year. They're going to finish better than 9th. They're having a top 10 defense. So I think Myles Garrett will be the catalyst of all that, and he is going to win Defensive Player of the Year.
I love the choice. Myles Garrett, of course, from right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, went to Arlington Martin High School and Texas A&M. Okay, that leaves us with one more award to give out.
Yep, the MVP award, Bill Jones. I'm excited. I have a shocker answer, but I want to hear who you're going with because this is good stuff right here. Which way you leaning? You've come up with some surprising picks so far. So which way are you going here?
I have. And so the most valuable player in 2021. Well, let's review. How did Aaron Rodgers do last year?
Strong.
He had a pretty good year.
Yeah, enough to win the award. Run away.
Yes.
I mean, he kind of ran away with the award.
And so that he set the standard last year. And what did he do? He completed 71% of his passes. He had 48 touchdown passes, only 5 interceptions, and ran for 3 touchdowns. So it was a total of 51 touchdowns for Aaron Rodgers, and the Packers had a pretty good year last year. Another guy that pops immediately to mind, of course, would be the Kansas City quarterback. That would be one Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes last year, 66% accuracy, 4,700 yards, 38 touchdowns passing, 6 picks, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns. So he totaled 40 touchdowns overall. But here's who I'm going with. Okay. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills quarterback, Josh Allen, as your MVP after a 13-3 season last year. What were his numbers last year? 69% accuracy, 4,500 yards, not far off Mahomes. He had 37 touchdowns. Mahomes had 38. Allen had 10 picks last year. But here's the thing with Allen, and it's something that Lamar Jackson provides in Baltimore. Of course, he doesn't do it to the same extent that Lamar Jackson does, but he can run the football. And he rushed for over 400 yards last year and had 8 touchdowns. So tack those 8 touchdowns on to his 37 passing touchdowns. He accounted for 45 touchdowns last year, just 6 fewer than Aaron Rodgers had in an incredible year. And so now Josh Allen has entered the conversation as far as MVPs go. They got a really good team this year. They're going to win a lot of games this year. And so I've got Josh Allen as and it's semi-sleeper because, you think of Rodgers, you think of Mahomes immediately, but Josh Allen is a guy that has now emerged on that in that territory. And of course, he's got the big contract now too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Can we just say it's amazing how much better Josh Allen has progressed in his career? Because 2 years ago, I'll bet you half the league was like, this dude can't play. And now, as you mentioned, and you're 100% right, he is among the top 2 or 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the entire league.
Here's another guy that did the same thing, and that was Lamar Jackson. Remember Lamar Jackson, his first year, and especially in that playoff game against the Chargers, he was so inaccurate, but obviously he worked really hard on his footwork, on his passing in the following off season, and he was remarkable, the turnaround that he had as far as his accuracy goes. The other thing on Rodgers, and okay, say what you want about, Aaron Rodgers is obviously one of the greatest quarterbacks, maybe number 2 behind Brady to ever play the game. I do think, though, that you need a little bit of an off season with your receivers, and I think you can take a step back a little bit if you haven't been throwing since May, April with your receivers. So that's just a little subtle thing. He'll pick right up, but still, I think there is something to be said for that. Because of that, I don't think he'll put up the same incredible numbers that he did last year, which opens the door for others.
Yeah, and the whole pondering retirement for 5 months thing, that might slow him down a little bit. All right, I'm going with a quarterback as well, and I'm going with an off the radar guy as well. I looked it up online. Currently, he has the 10th best odds to win the MVP award.
So a dark horse.
Kind of a dark horse. Yeah, you could take it as a dark horse. His name is Kyler Murray. 23-1 right now, if you're into that sort of thing, on some of those websites. I love Kyler Murray. I think the Cardinals are in for a huge year, mostly because of Murray. Let me take you back to 2020, Bill Jones. The first 9 games of the season, he had 27 touchdowns. But after getting hurt in week 11 versus Seattle, he kind of slowed down. Just 10 touchdowns in his next 7 games. This season, he's got an improved supporting cast. A.J. Green, Rondell Moore, who you mentioned before, James Conner's in the backfield, Rodney Hudson's at center. So I'm predicting a monster season for Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. And as you brought this up, and I actually wrote this down, we're talking somewhere near 50 touchdowns for Kyler Murray when you include passing plus rushing. I think this is his year to explode onto the scene.
All right. I love it. And there's another one. You're picking all these Dallas-Fort Worth guys. Kyler Murray went to Allen High School here in Dallas. So you got Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year, Kyler Murray, the MVP. And it's going to be very interesting. So now I'm led to wonder, where in the world, if Kyler Murray's winning the MVP, I cannot wait until next week when you will make your picks to win the divisions, and we'll pick our Super Bowl winners next week. I wonder where you got. You might have Cincinnati and Arizona in the Super Bowl for all we know.
Slow down a little bit. Slow down a little bit. I have been on record. I have already said, and I'm sticking with this. I'm just telling everyone right now, the Cardinals are winning the NFC West. The Arizona Cardinals are winning the NFC West. But I am excited to pick the divisions and the Super Bowl next week, which we're going to do right here on Jonesing for Football.
Don't tell my wife this, the Texas Tech grad, but if the Cardinals win the division, it will be the first time Cliff Kingsbury has won anything.
That's the that's a holdup for me. That's how that's like the only thing I'm weighing against. Everything else I love, but I still love Arizona despite that.
But you're loving Coach Bro now, it sounds
That's
like.
right. Yeah, right. No doubt.
All right. Okay, well, that was a fun edition of Jonesing for Football, and next week's will be just as fun because we are making our picks for the team of the year in the National Football League. All the division winners and who wins the Super Bowl. Will it be the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl next February?
I know last year, let's just quickly give our picks from last year. You said Cowboys versus Chiefs, right? Okay, so you did hit 1 out of 2 there. You were awful.
Pretty good.
All right. I went Steelers and Saints. But so neither of those teams made, but they were both in the mix for most of the season.
All right. So it will be the kiss of death. My pick will be the kiss of death for whoever I pick next week to go to the Super Bowl, at least if it's the Cowboys.
I just want to see if you're going to pick Cowboys and Chiefs. I think it's going to become a recurring thing every year. You're going to go Cowboys and Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
It's a throwback pick because, of course, the Chiefs used to be in Dallas. They were the Texans. And so, what was it, 60 years ago, it was the Cowboys and Texans both occupied the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. And the Chiefs left. Lamar Hunt took his team to Kansas City. And the rest, as they say, is history. All right, that does it for this edition of Jonesing for Football. We will see you again next week.
Boom, boom.